Welcome back. Thank you for staying with Kenya's fastest growing television. Just a reminder of who our guest is tonight. With me in studio is Jubilee's Secretary General, Jeremiah Kioni. We made sense of the ruling of the 12th of June, which, as some say, rightfully gave back Jubilee to former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Jeremiah Kioni, you talked of Matiangi. And we have seen Jubilee leaders, you included, fronting him as the candidate of the party. What informed the selection of Matiangi as a presidential candidate?
Allow me to just step one kidogo nyuma. And say, one of the other reasons why we fought in court and fought until we won was because of what we referred to under the Nandiko report, fidelity to multi-party democracy. Fidelity to multi-party democracy. And what that meant to us was that it took the lives of many in the 90s, in the 80s, to get us out of the Section 2A and where Kenya became a multi-party democracy. And it is wrong for us to allow the creeping back of that single party rule or dictatorship. And we thank God and we thank every other supporter, including the party leader Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, for the support that he gave to those of us who are at the front fighting for the party. But we also want to, and I also thank even the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, Martha Karua, and even Akina Wajakoya. We were together and fighting for the fidelity to multi-party democracy. Why am I saying this? Because the most important thing that we can do as leaders of party and also as leaders of this country is to allow the growth of many parties. As we head towards 2027, I have heard people say that this region will only have one political party. If you are not coming through my political party, you are a nobody. That is very, very retrogressive. Allow me to use that word. It's a very retrogressive thing. It's really a demonstration of a person who either has not paid attention to the history of this country or who think that we were selling jugu karanga when people are being killed because of multi-party democracy. It's very important for all of us to ensure that you don't kill other parties as you sell yours. Tuende kwa hii soko ya siasa tukatafute kura.
Jeremiah Kioni, back to my question.
No, it is the question. I'm answering your question.
Yes.
Because I have also heard others who are saying Matiangi should go back and form his own party ya Kisii ndio atafute kiti ya rais nayo. You know, one is that you demean the stature of the person you are talking about. Because when you think that I can only be useful to the nation by making me a local leader, you really are not having respect for me. Two is that when you want to become a leader of this nation, you don't go to a local party. You need a national platform. Three, it's not upon you to decide which party I run on. If you are interested in the presidency, learn on the party that you have chosen. Don't choose the party for me. Like using Madera's word, how arrogant can you be to try and choose the party that I should use as a candidate?
Fair.
On Matiangi, I'm coming to Matiangi. Matiangi served this country under the banner of Jubilee, TNA, JAB, all that was Jubilee for 10 years. He has a track record of what Jubilee can do and what they did when they were under the stewardship of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Most of the times when William Ruto was out there doing what was called tangatangering, the person who was left chairing the subcommittee of parliament was Matiangi. He understands clearly what was the agenda that had been set to be achieved by Jubilee. Which projects were ongoing, who was funding them, what was intended, what was the vision.
Jeremiah Kioni, I will eventually get there. The presidency is a political position.
The Gen Z the young generation, a good percentage of this Kenyan voters 2027 are people who went through Matiangi, either at the Ministry of ICT or Education, and of course now he was also there with the Ministry of Interior. So Matiangi has a good rapport history with the Jubilee. His interest in learning for this country at the Jubilee should not be a subject issue. The issue should be, are you better than him?
And now can
you compete with him?
Let me ask
when
you.
It comes
let
to
me ask you this,
Jeremiah Kioni, and the kind of things that Kenyans want.
The presidency is a political position.
Yes.
Fred Matiangi, though a minister and a high-ranking for that matter in the last administration, has never won an elective position, be it an MCA, a senator, a member of parliament, a governor, or a senator. You are fronting what many are saying is a political novice.
Many reasons why. One is that you can't be a person who's learned for office, but you are not a politician, you are a leader. I think one such person is Kibaki. You can be a politician, but also a person capable of transforming this country in a manner that is, nobody ever imagined. That's another person in the name of Uhuru Kenyatta. You could also be a person who comes from the professional world, the business world, and you've seen things are not working well, and you decide to run for the office and do things that others did not expect you to do in the name of Trump. You can also be a person who was just a minister. Remember this 2010 constitution is only like now 13 years old. There before you needed to be an MP, a minister, an assistant minister before you moved on. This constitution has now given room for us as Kenyans to see beyond the political leaders who go looking for votes. Are there other Kenyans who have the ability to perform? Are in the professional careers, are business people whom we can call upon to come and rescue us out of that.
And in your mind, that person is Fred Matiangi.
And fortunately for us, we have a name in the name of Fred Matiangi, who was picked from the sectors by Uhuru, came and performed as a minister. So while he has not gone campaigning for votes, we have seen him perform in a position that was given by an elected person.
You have painted...
And I can tell you, it is not just me saying that. Kenyans themselves are also happy about it. It is 70 years down the line, almost, when we last agreed on an individual whom we wanted to lead this country, the way Kenyans have agreed on Matiangi.
Well, the elections, to be fair, the elections are a few days ahead.
I'm here. The only other person who got this kind of, perhaps this kind of acceptance was Mzee Kenyatta. Jomo Kenyatta. So while we are saying that tutakaa tukubaliane na nakubali lazima watu wote wakae wakubaliane. Kwa hiyo mesa ya kukubaliana, we want a Gen Z there, we want a Mkenya there, then we want the other presidential candidate.
You have talked
because
of the
we do not want to be given a candidate that was not been chosen by Kenyans.
Fair enough. And let me ask, Mheshimiwa, with respect, you have talked of the track record of Fred Matiangi.
I also have a good track record.
Needless to have added that. You have talked of Fred Matiangi's track record.
Yeah.
Are you worried that a section of Kenyans are equally questioning his track record when they talk of River Yala incidents, when they talk of Ruaraka land saga?
Every person will have answers to give. If you have skeletons in your wardrobe, you will deal with them. When he finally comes to do all the talking that perhaps some of us have been talking on his behalf, I am sure he will pick on those questions. And let me tell you...
And does that worry the party then, as the Secretary General of the party?
I want to tell you in advance, this is a gentleman who knows how to answer questions that relate to him. So nobody should ever pretend to answer those questions on his behalf.
And those are difficult questions?
They are not. I have engaged.
When bodies of Kenyans...
He will answer them.
When bodies of innocent Kenyans were retrieved from a river as a minister...
When he comes to answer them, he will answer them.
Fair enough. Mheshimiwa, we have seen a presidential advisor share cryptic messages of posters with former President Uhuru Kenyatta in reference to Moses Kuria with the title, the Secretary General of the Jubilee Party. Are you a man tonight whose job is under threat?
Well, I am not sure that Moses Kuria, I think you are talking about Moses Kuria. You have to be very careful when you credit anything that you see around Moses Kuria. Talk to him so that then you can answer questions that on what he has said with his own mouth. So zingine, Moses Kuria is the Moses Kuria we have known in this country And you never know what all that means. Having said that, is that the position of the SG of any party, it is not a position available as you walk across or along the road. Any party, there is a way at which through which you become elected as either SG, organizing secretary, party leader. That is done through an NDC. The NDC of Jubilee, the next NDC of Jubilee, the earliest we are going to have a national delegates conference is 2028. So anybody interested in such positions has that kind of time to campaign. Maybe those you have mentioned are already campaigning for that. And you are confident you will take through the party in the 2027 polls? Well, yes, that's what we are working on. And I'm inviting all of them, including the ones you are mentioning, because they have now seen that the party they thought was a pale shadow of its past, it is the party that will make things happen come 2027. So mine is to invite them to come on board and help us make that great change that is required in this country. And I can also tell you that that kind of interest can only be to an institution that is making sense to Kenyans. And in my introduction, I talked equally of the loud silence of former President Uhuru Kenyatta. How much is he involved into the day-to-day running of the party? The day-to-day running of parties is done by the SGs. The party leaders in the form of former President Uhuru Kenyatta will be available when and when he thinks is necessary. So he is not silent because there is nothing he was to say which he didn't say. And does he give you direction as the Secretary General of the party? We talk when it is necessary. I don't want to pretend like the many people. By the way, you may even hear those people who are now setting those posters saying, "Niliongea na Uhuru," because the Kenyans, political people, this political conmen, not that one, saying political conmen, have understood that the nature of Uhuru is not to come out and contradict people. So he will say, "Aliniambia," because he knows Uhuru will not come and say. But will he be involved in the party's political affairs? We will. It's again him. Political affairs of the party. Well, we have organs of the party which he will chair when and when is necessary. You saw him chairing the NDC at the Gong Race Course. If there are such other opportunities or functions that he thinks he should get involved, he will. If he thinks that it should be done by others, he will allow them to learn. He's learned this country for 10 years, and we have a track record to see. So what's a political party to him? Fair enough, and because of the interest of time, perhaps one last question. Some say you are fronting Matiangi because you yourself, Jeremiah Kioni, are in a deputy position to Matiangi in a 2027 run-up. Are you interested in such? Now, jambo la kwanza, if I fronted Matiangi and said he is a presidential candidate for Jubilee, siyo mdomo tu igesema Kioni awe presidential candidate wa Jubilee. But are you interested in that position? Kwa hivyo, kama nikuwa candidate wa Jubilee, hiyo mdomo ingekuwa na uwezo wa kusema. Na kama huyo mdomo haijasema, kwa nini unataka kuweka maneno kwa hiyo mdomo? And that's why you are here and I'm asking. No, I'm saying this. Yes. We are at a very critical time in this country. Okay. We have gone south in a manner that even those who voted for this regime never imagined. We need serious individuals who can win the confidence of Kenyans across the tribal boundaries so that they have a mandate like never before to help us turn this country overnight. Overnight, not like tomorrow. And for that to happen, a lot of sacrificing of your own personal interest or your own greed to power is required. Okay. I want to allow me this. I know you don't have time, but yes. I am begging for you to allow me to say this. 30 seconds. 30 seconds is even more than I need. We are talking of Matiangi from a smaller community. We are talking of Matiangi from a community that's not predominantly, it's not predominantly the party, the owners of, not the owners, the people who are in Jubilee. And it's because the country needs Matiangi. more than the country needs me. So when you talk to me as a deputy party or deputy president, the country needs Matiangi. The other things will follow. I am saying this so that those of us who are interested to run for the presidency in this country, can they find it in themselves to start seeing that Matiangi is a more acceptable candidate, and to say, let it be, not because they are weaker, but that way they become stronger.
Fair enough.
For the sake of this country.
And some will question the parameter used in judging the acceptability of that
he himself expressed his desire.
Fair enough, Mheshimiwa. Thank you very much.
Na atakuja aseme zaidi.
Fair enough. And I hope we will have him here to ask him the questions that you said we would ask him.
Usiogope.
Fair enough, Mheshimiwa. Thank you for your time tonight. I really appreciate your presence and clarification.
It's good to see you after a long time.
And I hope to see you longer. We still have 2 years and some few months to the polls. Let's get to the world of business now.